for a comedy costume to be funny, or greasy, trying to look downright terrifying. The problem with this one is, it doesn't fall into any of the categories. That is, unless you're afraid of snails. I mean, to be fair, I guess the plastic bag looking like a snail trail is kinda clever, and the costume itself isn't, like, awful either. Honestly, though, the whole thing just looks kind of depressing, so I'm guessing they were...
Pampers Cruisers 360 Fit. Secret Aluminum Free helps eliminate odor instead of just masking it. Secret.
We all remember when we were kids going to McDonald's and getting those Happy Meal toys. Sure, it was a rip-off, paying for loads of meals to get that tiny piece of plastic, but they were super fun, right? Also, we remember. Turns out, sometimes though, Ronald McDonald wasn't feeling his old happy self and made these really damn creepy. Some of these toys are dangerous and some are just plain scary and will give you nightmares. I'm Charlie and today we're going to look at the scariest McDonald's Happy Meal toys. Now before we jump into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell.
That was smart, Green.
Ronald will get you. Coming up first, we have dinosaurs. Every kid loved playing with those dinosaurs, especially little boys. So that's why in the early 2000s, McDonald's decided to put some in their Happy Meals. They made a bunch of these plastic dinosaur toys, and they thought kids would like them. Only problem was, they were cheaply made in China, so the quality wasn't great. As you can see, what they thought would be an awesome toy turned out to be plain disturbing. Some of them look more like crocodiles or alligators than dinosaurs.
Green.
And the baby dinosaur even resembles an alien creature.
Green.
Mutation of an actual baby. People reminisced about these dinosaur toys in an online forum, and pretty much everyone said they got nightmares and had to throw their toys away. What wussy kids wouldn't want to play with this E.T. looking toy? Next up is Ronald McDonald Mask. Everyone knows the clown Ronald McDonald was the McDonald's mascot. The only problem was, McDonald's didn't realize most people don't like clowns. In fact, it's one of the most common phobias of all time. So that's why in 2003, McDonald's stopped using Ronald McDonald. One of the reasons why they stopped using him was because of one disastrous toy. This toy released in the 90s was a Ronald McDonald mask. The mask was supposed to be all
My game is lagging.
It looks more like the clown from It. I guess thanks to movies like It and The Joker, clowns just aren't funny anymore. Kids were really freaked out by this mask. And also it was usually all greasy because of the oily foods it was next to. I'd say this is probably one of the most sad Happy Meal toys of all time. You could actually pay me not to wear a greasy clown mask.
I was going to Italian.
Next up is Food Fun Dementors. If you're a true 90s kid, you remember these toys. Back in the 90s, McDonald's released a bunch of toys known as Food Fun Dementors. They were getting a lot of bad press because their food was unhealthy. So instead of adding fruit to the menu, they simply added fruit toys. The toys were really creepy faces on healthy foods. This included some low-fat milk, a steak, a tomato, and a sandwich.
What?
Ruby and the sandwich named Otis looked the most creepy. And the face on the low-fat milk is straight out of nightmares. Needless to say, these toys were not popular and were soon discontinued. But if you do have some of these, you could sell them for big money. Recently, some were sold on eBay for nearly $100. Next up is...
What, bro?
We all know and probably dislike Minions. They've gone from being a small part of the Despicable Me movies...
I still should make that again.
Well, in 2015, Pixar's Minions teamed up with McDonald's. With Happy Meal,
What?
they released some talking Minion toys. That may sound like a pretty good toy compared to other Happy Meal toys. But parents were very, very displeased because the Minions appear to say F you. Now, this was not intentional. Instead, the Minions are supposedly speaking a made-up language, Minionese. This is basically a bunch of gibberish, but some of that gibberish did not sound good. In fact, it sounded like some of these Minions were cursing. These Minions were quickly taken off the market. But that's not before a lot of parents complained about their kids' sweary Happy Meal toys. Next up is Tickle Feather. After you hear this one, you're not going to believe McDonald's actually released it. We all know what a suggestive tickle feather is for. Basically, it's something some people use for a bit of fun in the bedroom. In the 90s, McDonald's released a tickle feather. This was a cheap piece of foam made to look like a feather. I'm not sure how they came up with it or who the toy was even for. Maybe they just had some old foam laying around in the factory and it was cheap to make. Maybe it was a mistake, but how did they miss the very naughty undertones of this toy?
Bro, that's why I didn't want to pass the ball to you.
For anyway, this toy was quickly discontinued and was never brought back. Just imagine if they tried that in 2020. McDonald's would be cancelled. Coming up next is Sky Dancers. Back in the 2000s, this was the most popular toy every girl wanted. Would catapult into the air.
They actually, bro, how's that goaltending though?
But they were soon found to be very dangerous. Many girls who played with them were smacked in the face as they catapulted up into the air. But not only were these kind of dangerous, some said they were kind of creepy too. They have very eerie smiles and gigantic, bulging eyes. And they were quite repetitive too. All you would do is launch them into the air and they'd fall back down. Kids also loved trolling their siblings by shooting them.
Bro, right here.
But that again proves how dangerous
Green.
these toys really were. Some kids were even said to have night
Green, bro.
because these toys only had one leg. Maybe they were some kind of weird woman flamingo hybrid. Or maybe McDonald's just wanted to save.
He's about to make that. He's about to make
Next
that.
up is Rasputin.
No, bro.
About Rasputin.
Let's go.
History class or the Boney M song. But in the late 90s, a movie named Anastasia was brought out and people went crazy for it. It introduced kids to Russian history and folklore. And at the time, the movie teamed up with McDonald's to produce a Rasputin toy. However, when kids got the toy, they realized it was actually very
Bro, come on.
He'd pop off his head and body parts by pushing a button on his back. This is likely a play on what happened to Rasputin as he was assassinated. But parents were furious that their kids were playing with this very scary toy. Considering it was for kids, it was pretty gruesome. Also, why do you make a kid's toy based off one of the most dark stories?
Bro, what is the dude doing?
Next up is Halloween Hamburglar. If you're not in the USA, you may not know what Hamburglar is. Back in the 80s, McDonald's had two mascots, Ronald McDonald and the Hamburglar. The Hamburglar was basically Ronald McDonald's evil counterpart. He was a villain who would steal hamburgers. And he was also supposed to be kind of scary. So that's why in Halloween...
Bro, my game is lagging, bro.
McDonald's brought out a Halloween-inspired Hamburglar. They tried to make him look like a scary witch. And they succeeded as many kids burst into tears after getting this toy. There's even a spider crawling on his face, which is the #1 phobia in the
My game is lagging, dude.
His screen and why his tongue is so big. When you moved this toy around,
I'm about to lag out.
his eyes would move and track you around the room. So, needless to say, that's
My
how
game
the
is
kids
lagging.
did not get much sleep. Coming up
Bro.
next is Creepy Jellyfish. This toy was part of the promotion of the movie Shark Tale. Shark Tale and
Bro,
McDonald's
I think he's trying to boot me.
characters into Happy Meal toys. But things went seriously wrong with the jellyfish character. Not only does he have a face like the
Bro, I'm lagging, dude. I can't do nothing. I'm lagging.
Parents were shocked to find this rude-shaped toy in their kids' Happy Meals. Maybe these parents have their minds in the gutter. But
I'm literally lagging, bro. I think he's trying to boot me.
calm as fuck. I have to say, I've never seen a jellyfish.
Bro, I lagged out.
And finally on the list, we
Green, I lagged out.